If you haven't heard, Jimmy Donaldson, aka MrBeast, has been in a ton of hot water recently over, some would say, an absolute avalanche of allegations against him and his company. It started with allegations against his best friend Ava Chris Tyson, but really blew up when a new channel by the name of Dogpack404 published 2 videos exposing MrBeast.
He is not the Antichrist. He is the spokesperson for the Antichrist.
Now, I think both of these videos are crap and have a ton of complaints against Dogpack just saying shit with no evidence.
Titled MrBeast Leaving Trash Behind and Debris at Film Site in Aden, North Carolina. Apparently he left a large boat in a pond as well as debris around the film site in the bottom of the pond weeks and weeks after the agreed time frame.
But today I want to focus on a more pathetic and transparently opportunistic person, that being former MrBeast employee and professional bandwagoner Jake Weddle.
This summer is Rat Boy Summer. And yeah, I felt that. I feel like I felt that in the ether.
He was the main subject of Dogpack's second big exposed video on MrBeast titled, "I worked for MrBeast, he's a sociopath," where the former employee is used to destroy Jimmy's reputation.
Oh, it's just so good to say. I don't like Jimmy. I hate you so much.
Why do I call Jake Weddle pathetic and opportunistic? Well, just a month before this.
I hate you so much.
Here's Jake simping for Jimmy on Twitter and reposting to TikTok saying he'll run for president with the guy alongside the hashtag MrBeast in the video description. So literally weeks before the big hate wave, Jake is out here trying to suck in the MrBeast audience, but as soon as the bandwagon comes along, Mr. Weddle jumps on to blow his load down Jimmy's throat. Annoyingly, I wanted to check Jake's old Twitter to see if there were more examples of him simping for MrBeast before public opinion turned, but he conveniently deleted his profile and that page is scrubbed from the Internet Archive.
I deleted my Twitter because I don't want any part of that. Don't worry, all my Call of Duty Xbox Live tweets got deleted back in like 2019. It's fine. I got rid of them.
It's never a good look to be deleting evidence, but unlike this guy, I'm not going to allege anything without solid evidence.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Title: I worked for MrBeast. He's a sociopath, with a former Beast Productions employee bawling his eyes out. Man, Jake Weddle must have been treated unbelievably horribly by the MrBeast company, right? Not really. Listen in, and the whole time Jake is really complaining about his pay and not getting enough screen time.
Now I make dog shit pay, making gajillionaires more money. I said, I need XYZ or I'm out of here. And they said, bet, and they gave me a severance check the next day. And they always cut me out of the videos. They always, and I was, editors have told me that it's because you have too much of a personality.
I mean, this is supposed to be the big bad video of MrBeast being legit evil, and just look how often Jake mentions not being on screen enough.
We're usually moved up, had more screen time. They always cut me out of the videos. It's a video they can't cut me out of. I'm the guy.
I was in the writer's room and I was like, when do I get some screen time? And I never did. So if you've liked me on the MrBeast channel, if you wanted to see a lot more of me, hey, me fucking too, brother.
By the way, those last instances of him complaining are from a whole other video he posted to his own channel.
And then part 3 of the video is going to be some tea. Okay? Ooh, stick around to the end for some tea. Huh?
Boy, for someone who seems to hate drama, Jake's really milking this hate wave with 1, 2, 3, 4 videos on the tea, totaling 90% of his recent video views.
Tea, huh?
Let's tackle the not paid enough argument. It's actually impossible to directly address this because Jake Weddle, the proud leftist that he is,
I'm a leftist,
never once revealed how much money he was making as a writer/on-screen talent at MrBeast, just that it wasn't enough. I suspect it's because saying his salary will make the audience stop sympathizing with his victimized worker act.
I don't want to have student loans. I don't want to be in a cage. But Jimmy's the guy with the money, and if you do what he says, he'll do what you want. You want your student loans paid off? You just be in this cage. And you have power over people. When one person doesn't have resources and the other one does, and they hold it over your head, and you go, of course, yeah, I agreed to it.
On some cringe MrBeast owned the means of production BS. If Jake wants to get sympathy for being underpaid, that's okay, but for God's sake, you can't just say it quote-unquote wasn't enough and expect everyone to be on your side. At bare minimum, you have to say your employee's salary and benefits. Before you say, well, he must have signed a non-disclosure agreement so he can't say his salary. That's not the case. Under US law, an NDA cannot silence you from discussing your wage with anyone. So Jake intentionally not disclosing his wage is a personal choice rather than a legal one. Why is this kind of transparency necessary? Because when you're blowing someone out of the water this way, it isn't enough to say I was making X amount and wanted Y, which is a fair wage. Jake is using the court of public opinion against Jimmy, so he has to be upfront about these things. Instead of a raise, Jake got fired. That begs the question, how much was he asking for?
Asked for not necessarily a gajillion dollars, but maybe a salary that was more proportional to the work I was doing, given how much revenue that work was doing. And then, you know, I talked about that, and I talked about the Writers Guild and how this is what Writers Guild industry standard is for the streaming internet content with ads. I thought that was the closest thing to YouTube. And
okay, so I found the WGA's series compensation guide for half-hour-long episodes, hour-long episodes, and weekly rates. Seeing as Jake was a full-time writer, I think the weekly compensation rate is most appropriate here. Now to find out which job title Jake would slot himself under. Luckily, we have Jake's job application for that.
My name's Jake Weddle, and this is my video resume. I've worked at companies, like the MrBeast YouTube company, for instance. Worked there for 2 years as a writer, a director. I was on-camera talent, learned a lot of skills about long-form YouTube. It's fine.
Given this, I think it's safe to say Jake would at least consider himself a writer-producer. So $8 grand a week, say he works 46 weeks out of a year, equals $368,000 a year, which is an absolutely ridiculous amount if that was his asking price. Even if 368 grand is off by 50% from Jake's asking price, that would still be $245,000 a year on the low end, which is still a lot of money. That's a big lowball estimate that doesn't account for on-screen compensation. It's already a whole ass doctor salary and 3.6 times what landlords make.
Fuck this guy and fuck landlord, you are nothing but a leech. Fuck landlords and fuck you.
Maybe Jake's writing is worth at least $245,000 a year, putting him in the top 4% of earners in the US. I don't know, but it puts the "I was only asking for a fair wage and got fired" act into way sharper relief. Moving on to the failed challenge video that Jake Weddle participated in. This is supposed to be the big incident, the kill shot, the absolute unraveling of MrBeast's positive public persona, as it is shown that poor old Jake was abused and cheated out of money. The video idea was that Jake would be locked in a room with limited contact to the outside world. Every day he spent in there, he'd receive 10 grand for a max of $1 million if he totaled 100 days.
The pitch is 100 days in solitary confinement. But don't worry, like, you only have to last like 30. We have like a video. They're pitching it like at first it's gonna be like a luxury vacation. You're gonna have like a hot tub and an ice cream machine, and like part of the video is gonna be you deciding like what items am I gonna get rid of, you know, today, and they had like the choice. They were like, it's only gonna be bad for me to last like 5 days tops when you have like nothing left. You're the first. It's gonna be like a breeze for most of it, and by the end of it, after 30 days, you're gonna get $300,000 because it's $10,000 a day.
Note that the expected payout of 300 grand was given with the idea that Jake would spend 30 days in the challenge for 10 grand a day. I'm not dumb enough to say this is an easy challenge, particularly the fact the lights were on all the time. That's absolutely brutal.
The lights are on me all the time. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep, and I have insomnia problems now. But they might have started there.
The no nighttime issue was so bad in the retry video that did come out, titled 10K Every Day You Survive in Prison. You can clearly see MrBeast Productions did have the lights off for when the contestants slept. So I agree this is hard, but hear me out. There's a big fat red button you can push to leave.
Because I'm trying to be funny, but I am mentally decaying, so I'm doing bits.
At any point, if you want to end the challenge and leave, just press this red button.
But Tony, if the MrBeast Productions sees that Jake is decaying and is pushed to his limits, shouldn't they pull him out?
And that's when I get psych in and I talk to the psych about how I'm not well. And like I said, there was a lot of good people over there that was saying, you gotta pull him out.
Here's the thing. There are two concepts I want everyone on Jake Weddle's side to understand. Personal accountability and a person's autonomy. In general, for people above the age of 18, you are accountable for your actions. If you steal a car, you go to jail. If you sign a contract, you have to honor it. Unless, for example, you're severely impaired, like after a major dental procedure, it's possible to not be accountable for what you say or do. Then there's the second part of a person's autonomy. Above the age of 18, you're mostly autonomous, meaning you choose what happens to you when it happens to you. Want to change your name? Go for it. Get a stupid tattoo on your forehead? You have every right. Someone can lose their right to autonomy when experiencing psychosis or otherwise deemed incapable of making informed decisions for their own safety, in which case others make decisions for them. Note that choosing to override someone's autonomy for a justifiable reason is a super high bar. With these two things in mind, Jake Weddle, an adult person, not under the influence or experiencing psychosis. It makes perfect sense why the MrBeast crew wouldn't want to pull Jake out of the challenge even if he's having a really hard time, especially when the stakes are so high. I mean, are you really gonna be the one to stop a challenge when the contestant is making 10 grand a day? Maybe, but probably not. The dipshits saying, just get out bro, are actually entirely right, precisely because Jake is accountable for his decision to enter the challenge and has the autonomy to leave whenever he wants just by pushing the red button. Just imagine another universe where the MrBeast crew did step in to pull Jake out earlier. So the story is instead, MrBeast cheats me out of $1 million by canceling my challenge early. So why do this? Hop on the anti-MrBeast bandwagon. Combination of things, it seems. Obviously he knew he'd get a boatload of views. Clearly, I mean 92% of his recent views were from trashing MrBeast. And before you say anything, yes, I include this video too. Beyond that, he seems super salty about not getting a bigger role at Beast Productions. This phrasing, I was supposed to be fourth banana.
I was told at one point that I was going to be like fourth banana, you know, it was going to be Jimmy, Chris, Chandler, me, you know, and then that never happened. And I remember talking about that, like, hey, I thought my contract said XYZ.
I was supposed to be the fourth banana. Supposed to be Jimmy, Chris, Chandler, me.
Not getting enough screen time.
Screen time.
Some screen time and...
They always cut me out of the video. Can't cut me out of. I wasn't on camera as much as they said I was going to be.
If you wanted to see a lot more of me, hey, me fucking too, brother.
Feeling entitled to more money.
I make dog shit pay.
And they aren't giving me all the money, which was also a slap in the face.
I can't afford a big flashy new car because I work at MrBeast.
I was supposed to be in a video that came out. And I was supposed to get a lot more money than I did.
I said, I need XYZ or I'm out of here. Maybe a salary that was more proportional to the work I was doing.
It also seems Jake was hoping to build an audience off the back of this drama. Not coincidentally, his Patreon was revived after a year-long hiatus the same day Dogpack's video came out. Jesus Christ, actually the same day? Bro didn't even give it a bit to seem less opportunistic. I mean, just look at the constant plugging.
Shout him out, Jake Weddle, top link in the description.
If you want to donate to me or my Patreon, that's fine. Follow, TikTok, Instagram. I wanted to stream so bad. Like and subscribe. Thank you to everybody who went to my Patreon. So if you want to prove a point, Patreon in the link below.
Jake's Patreon, ground floor, join now before it's cool. I normally wouldn't mind the self-promo. Hell, if you have a ton of eyes on you, it's wise to try and convert them to lasting viewers. But he insists it's not that.
I didn't do this for money. I didn't do this for fame. I didn't do this to jumpstart my career. I wasn't trying to be an opportunist.
Except he did though. He's bitter about not having a bigger role/paycheck at Beast Productions, and he's using this Dogpack bandwagon to build out his own brand. He even tries to befriend the lefty politics guys.
Leftist political streamers. Fellas, you gotta stop glazing this man. Hassan, I saw your reaction to me. It's probably because you're friends with Carl. No big deal. Vosh, let's see if you have a better take. Yeah, that's right. I'm pitting you guys against each other. Which brings me to Ethan Klein. You are the king of YouTube legality. So if this gets hairy, I hope that you can help me out.
It's like the unpopular kid trying to use his 15 seconds of fame to get in with the cool kids after showing up to school in a cast everyone wanted to sign. Last thing I want to touch on is this boogeyman version of MrBeast these people have constructed. Seriously, Jimmy might as well be Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, if you didn't kiss the ring, you'd lose your career. And if you didn't talk nice to reporters, you wouldn't be allowed back. You'd be in the out group. If in the hypothetical scenario, somebody were to hire people to dig up dirt on other people for the purpose of defaming them, so they seem less credible. Hypothetically, when I was terrified to come out, scared shitless because of what was going to happen to me, or the way you guys were going to drag my name through the mud.
I'm sorry, when has Jimmy ever shown himself to be a vindictive person? Former employee Marcus goes on a 13-minute schizo rant about MrBeast, including accusing Bro of starting COVID. Jimmy never responded. Rosanna Pansino basically runs a relentless hate parade against MrBeast, amplifying literally any and every unconfirmed and unsubstantiated allegation against him. Jimmy hasn't responded. Both Jake Weddle and Jake the Viking spin off their own careers, leveraging their time at MrBeast. Jimmy never spoke poorly about them. Meanwhile, you have this.
You know, if you could go back and kill baby Hitler, well, copy paste baby Jeff Bezos. Baby Bezos. Bezos. He exploits the poor to get rich And the second it doesn't serve him anymore, he's done.
Oh, so offing Jimmy is like offing baby Hitler now? God, Jake's crybullying is insane. And this is how Jimmy, the sociopathic, evil, Cruella de Vil boogeyman responds in a text message. Hey, I just wanted to reach out and say I didn't mean to cause you mental stress with that video and I apologize. Clearly it had an effect on you. You mentioned you'd like to be paid out the rest of the prize money, the other 190 grand, and I'd love to make things right with you. I have zero expectations of you mentioning me sending you this money publicly or taking down any videos. This is me just wanting to help out and make sure you're good. I just need to know if you still use the same bank or not. We'll send the money on Monday. Wish you the best. And guess what? Jake Weddle agreed to take $50,000 of evil Jimmy's money. After calling him a sociopath, after portraying him as an evil, vindictive person, after reaping millions of views from trashing MrBeast, after reiterating over and over again it's not about the money, Jake got an apology and a ton of money. Unbelievable.
When it comes to me, Jimmy personally apologized. And he offered me money I wasn't comfortable accepting. But the understanding is he made an attempt to make it right, and I appreciated that. And that was all I needed. But I also got a little bit of change that I felt a little more comfortable taking, and the ability to stay true to myself and exist on this platform. And that, to me, is worth $1 gajillion. I don't want an apology, and I don't want your money. Every penny I make moving forward is going to be because I earned it.
It definitely was about the money, and it was about the fame. I also love referring to 50 grand as a little bit of change, by the way. God, I hate Jake so much. There are legitimate criticisms of MrBeast. The moldy cheese in Lunchly boxes really ought to get ironed out. This baby's first version of a slot machine on their website is questionable. And if contestants were harmed on the set of Beast games due to negligence, that should come out. But none of Jake Weddle's 2 hours and 14 seconds worth of cry bitching has any valid criticisms for Jimmy Donaldson. Just a bandwagoning opportunistic cash grab. Tune in next time where I set my sights on the main honcho, Dogpack 404, and his fantastic claims. Like and subscribe. Adios.